إذ حفلت بالتحديات التي استوجبت
Sessions
عملا دؤوبا
included hard work and constructive work among all of us, either on the ministerial or the deputies. We interacted as the Arab League in a quick and effective way in the Sudanese crisis which erupted the last April. We held a meeting for the permanent representatives after a few hours in 2023, followed by a preparatory meeting the 1st of May 2023, followed by the ministerial non-regular meeting, which issued a decision for a committee concerned with the crisis, which put a frame for a mechanism for the Arab work frame for collaboration effort in order to reach the independence and sovereignty of Sudan and the security of its people and stop any foreign interference in its foreign affairs. The Arab Communication Committee held meeting on the level of presidents in Jeddah to continue the communication with the Sudanese partners and the international community to solve the core of the crisis and to reach a permanent cessation for war and hostilities. And also, Syria resumed its membership in the Arab League according to the Arab decision in the extraordinary meeting called on by Egypt. The return, which paved for the way for a more vital and effective role for helping the Syrians in their crisis, which lasted for more than 10 years. In the decision of the Syrian return, we insisted on its sovereignty and its independence and regional stability and conquer terrorism by taking concrete steps to solve the crisis step by step, which works in harmony with 2454. Egypt called also, according to solving the Syrian issue, to follow up with the Amman Declaration, which issued Cairo Decree, which included what we have reached, which will be working according to. And there is no doubt that the re-engagement of Syria in Amman and Cairo is a great and positive development and positive step to prove the good intentions and fulfill the Arab-Arab cooperation to solve the Syrian problem. And we call for taking more steps to continue the support of the international community for solving and helping the Syrian people. And also with the different crises, the ministerial committee insisted on continuing its declaration and its work with the Palestinian crisis, our core issue, and what it is facing with the challenges. And we held an extraordinary meeting on the ministerial level in May 2023, in which we insisted on the principles of the Arab principles, which went in harmony with the international community to solve the Palestinian crisis, the withdrawal of Israel before the 1967 borders, and establishing two states with the Palestinian capital as Jerusalem. We also held an extraordinary meeting on the level of the permanent representative, during which we condemned the violation against the Al-Quds Mosque and the Jenin incident in the 4th of July 2023. We are alarming, that restoring to violence and the bloodshed of the Palestinians will lead to more violence, more tension in the whole region. We warned, and we're still warning, that touching the historical status of Jerusalem is totally rejected. And we are asserting, and we are still asserting, that touching Al-Aqsa Mosque with its whole dimensions and dividing it is totally rejected. It is, and it will always remain a place of worship for Muslims. The Arab League also continuing its support for the peace solution, for permanent solution, cornerstone for the coexistence in the Middle East region. Your Highness, the attendees, we adopted on the ministerial level throughout the past round the element of the Ethiopian dam is a permanent article on all the sessions and all meetings on the presidential and ministerial level, and to protect the water right for Egypt and Sudan, to protect the right of all people, and to protect the rights against all threats which we cannot accept. I would like to highlight on the statements issued in the 13th of July, which included agreement on the return of negotiations to reach throughout 4 months the principle for the working and starting the work of the dam. We achieved nothing has changed in the Ethiopian stance. They are not reaching any middle solution which meets the benefits and rights of all 3 states. Ethiopia did not change its stance regarding the filling of the reservoir, and Egypt is continuing to reach a peaceful solution for this issue, which protects its water rights and its national security. We are looking forward for the Arab League support to try to convince Ethiopia to stop its rigid stance and reach a binding solution, a lawful solution for the right and the benefit of all people. Throughout the round, we reach agreement in very vital file, like the Libyan file, which witnessed the assurance that we are looking forward for issuing law for the elections in the near future, and reaching the 5+5 agreement and the kicking of all the mercenaries, and reaching one administrative authority to protect the unity of Libya, which represent the Libyan people, protect the Libyan rights. We issued also a declaration for Yemen, rejecting the interference in the Arab affairs and fighting terrorism. Egypt hosted also the climate conference, COP27, which was hailed and welcomed the hosting of the Emirates for COP28. And also the priorities were hailed, and we set clearly the Arab stance. The Arab League is quickly responding to the crises in the region. We are also handing the presidency for the benefit of the Arab people and Arab nation to continue the work that we highlighted, to highlight the efforts and unified stances and visions to solve the crises in the region, which the Arab region is facing. Thank you again, Your Majesty and Highness, and I congratulate Mr. Nasser Qurita, the Foreign Minister of Morocco, for the hosting of the Common Ground for the Arab League on the ministerial level, and we wish him all good intention and good luck. At the end of the 159 sessions, I invite Mr. Nasser Qurita, the Foreign Minister and the Foreign Affairs of Morocco, to head the 160 round. I announce the opening of the ministerial round on its 160th session, and I would like to deliver Morocco's speech on this occasion. Your Majesty, the Chairman, allow me at the beginning to show Morocco's presidency for this round of the Arab League on the ministerial level. We are looking forward. This round would be successful with your contribution to value the negotiations. Would like to reach concrete solutions to move forward the Arab common stance in face of what the whole region is facing of challenges and the whole world in different levels. I would like to take this opportunity to thank and show our gratitude for Mr. Sameh Shoukry, Foreign Minister of Egypt, for the efforts exerted during his presidency, successful presidency for the previous round of the session. I would thank also the efforts exerted by the Arab League presidency, by Minister Secretary General of the Arab League. I would like to say that we are agreeing that the Arab situation is very sensitive and complicated. There are many points of conflict and hardships. The situation on the political and economic levels is quite complicated. Also, the sources of water and food, which we consider the Arab region is quite threatened by, which is threatening the citizen, the Arab citizen, Morocco, headed by monarch Mohammed al-Sadis, is believing that we should work together. We are convinced we cannot surpass this situation in light of the absence of a common vision and political will and commitment with respecting the neighborhood and sovereignty of the states, and a common vision which is looking forward to create real opportunities for partnership regionally and internationally, and creative stance to reach a comprehensive vision. From this point, the monarch is adopting a strategy to adopt and respect the challenges which is based on first creating the atmosphere to overcome the challenges and the crises and the conflicts with having a common Arab stance to exert effort to surpass any conflicts and have a common vision to reach the interest of our people. Secondly, put the political problem on common ground, moving in harmony to set the priority for the political problem as of its importance. First, the investment opportunity and exchange of experiences for reaching national security, to reach the common interest of the Arab people, and to reach more comprehensive achievements. We should focus on youth as a pillar for the future and sustainable development. Third, work on continuity through Arab common blocks. Fourth, invite more partners who's opening up with the Arabs for more partnerships on the political and parliamentarian and NGOs and economic blocs and media and art people to have new elements and new ideas. Fifth, reorganize the partnerships and the blocs according to the new strategies, Arab strategies, to reach the consensus for more opportunities, for more partnerships of the Arab League and new blocs. Our Arab nation is full and rich with human resources, which could help on the international levels. And a partnership with the Saudis and the United Arab Emirates and Egypt for BRICS. We are congratulating them for this step, which is representing a real importance of the Arab states. Morocco and the United Arab Emirates are partners also in ASEAN, which is pouring in the same direction. Finally, have new mechanisms like the other blocs, which made the economic merging a right direction for creating unity and integrity. In this regard, we would like to have mechanism to reach that for priorities, Your Majesties. The Palestinian crisis is a top priority for the common Arab vision. Morocco is adopting, headed by the monarch Mohammed al-Khamis Sadis, the Palestinians are insisting on the right, and we are respecting that, to establish its independent state and its capital as East Jerusalem for reaching the stability of the whole region. Concerning the Arab other issues like political crises and many conflicts and wars like Syria, Yemen, and Sudan, Morocco is looking forward for reaching stability in these countries according to reaching the priority of discussions and finding a peaceful solution. We are looking forward for reaching a political settlement in Libya, as the negotiations and meetings are only ways, not reach a final end, to reach the solution. Only the Libyan people are capable of navigating to reach the shore away from any foreign interference. Sirs, I would like to insist that the Moroccan monarchy is looking forward in working with cooperation with the Arab League to reach regional and logic solution by implementing the solutions, fruitful solution in all domains, especially in human rights. I would pray God to guide us for the unity of the Arab nations. Thank you so much. I give the speech for Arab League Chairman, the Secretary General of the Arab League, Ambassador Ahmed Abul Ghait, to deliver his speech. Thank you, Mr. President Nasser Bourita, the Minister of Foreign Affairs in Morocco, the head of the 160 round on the ministerial level, your ministers, the attendees. I would like at the beginning to congratulate Mr. Minister for the presidency of Morocco for the 160 round of the ministerial meeting. Wishing you all success and great thanks to Mr. Sameh Shoukry, Foreign Minister of the Arab Republic of Egypt, for the presidency of the 159th round wisely. There is no doubt that the Arab common work is having a great value among the challenges that we are facing in the whole world. The continuous work throughout the 19 months in Ukraine is representing a return for the major power conflicts, which reflect negative repercussion on the international peace, security, politically and economically, on even ground. The repercussion of the previous period is reflecting that the repercussion of these struggles require common work to assign work and create platform for common work which contain maintaining the interests. I can say that the Arab League succeeded throughout the past months to work on different levels to continue its partnership with international partners, as these partnerships are representing strategic asset for the Arab states. I would like to say that the Arab League, the Arab-Chinese summit hosted by Saudi Arabia in December, also the third round of the Arab-Japanese summit, which was hosted yesterday only. We are looking forward in next November for the Arab-African summit, which will be hosted by Saudi Arabia, as it is a step in its proper time to install a relation with our partners in Africa, which is having great changes. These partnerships and others all reflected and essential for putting the Arab region on the same ground with the other partners in different directions and concerning different problems and issues which concern the interest of the Arab people. The Sudanese crisis is still going on, leaving great price which could not be tolerated on the Sudanese people, with the continuing of fighting in the Sudanese cities and governorates. More refugees are fleeing the country. The life becoming more complicated for civilians. And the state's institutions are collapsing. And we are moving forward for a civil war, which we would not wish it to happen. We are all understanding that what we are seeking is moving to reach a comprehensive solution for the crisis, which require an immediate stop for hostility and war, which set the environment for the return of peace talks and peaceful solution, unity of the state institutions. As we are setting this necessity of these priorities, the humanitarian issue is a priority. Regarding that, I issued, after discussing the Arab Agricultural Organization, which set a study for the agricultural sector in Sudan, I issued a statement. I invited the Arab ministers of agriculture to look how their state could support this initiative to protect the food security in Sudan. I look forward that this initiative could receive support of the Arab states. In Yemen, and as the situation is getting better and the military situation is in better condition, the complete cessation of war is our aim. The Houthis are still putting obstacles for the solution, as if they are willing to continue the situation as is, with division in the state and the institutions, and weaken the economy of Yemen and its capabilities. To preserve one united Yemen with sovereignty away from any foreign interference is our aim that we are having to reach. And it is reachable if the Houthis are understanding that they could be part of the political solution and not a dominant, and using war. In Syria, we witnessed throughout the past months, we witnessed development, which is welcomed, and we thank the member states which helped in that. I talked about returning Syria for its seat in the Arab League, which included the return of the challenges that the Syrian people are facing. It is touching the neighboring state of Syria and the regional security in all perspectives. I welcomed also the continuity of the Arab positive involvement in the communication ministerial meeting, which was held in Cairo last month, and what it did reach for support for Syria in all the elements of its conflict and war, to reach a solution gradually based on step by step, and the UN solution 2254. The attendees, the Palestinian issue, our main problem is facing very alarming challenges with the leftist extremist government in Israel. This government program is based on settlement, not peace. It likes to include the territories, not two-state solution. It is the core of the problem, not a solution. They are creating, with its provocative policy, more complications in the Arab-Palestinian territory. The international community is having a responsibility towards ending this increasing conflict. We should not allow the Israeli government to increase the crisis. They have to face the extremists in this government and not permit them and their extremists and settlers to lead to more violence and the apartheid policy, which they are trying to increase, and they are implemented in the different Palestinian villages every single day. Mr. President, in the next coming stage would like more work from the Arab states to face the challenges and to adapt to these challenges. There is no doubt that the economic crisis that the world is facing and our region, respectively, is a top priority on our agenda. I would like to highlight the Economic Summit, Developmental Summit, fifth round, which will be hosted by Mauritania by before the end of the year or just next. The food security is a guarantee for the presidency. It is a top priority as the grain delivery is facing problem due to the Ukrainian crisis, other than any other crisis like a drought which hit Somalia in 3 years. The Economic and Social Committee is discussing this agenda, and the General Secretariat received many initiatives related to food security and economic green energy and green economy. And we are looking into these initiatives to work in harmony with the main banner of the summit, which I hope would represent a concrete turning point in this important file. Finally, I would like to wish the success for our session. Thank you so much. I thank the Arab League Secretary General for his speech, and now I would like to invite Mr. Philip, the UN representative, to deliver his speech and allow the audience to hear the efforts exerted to reach its services for the Palestinian people.
Mr. Chair, Mr. Secretary General of the League of Arab States, Excellencies, I'm grateful for the renewed opportunity to bring the situation of Palestinian refugees to your attention. This Council is a crucial forum that I particularly prioritize, given our common interest in seeing their rights upheld. Since last I addressed the Council in March, the situation for millions of Palestinian refugees in the region has further deteriorated. The Israeli military operation in the Jenin camp and the armed clashes in Ain el-Helwa camp are just two of several worrying developments. Gaza saw renewed escalation amid an ongoing crippling blockade that deprives Gazan of economic growth or any kind of normality. Palestinian refugees in Syria are recovering from the devastating earthquake without adequate support. And 180,000 Palestinian refugees in Jordan who fled from Syria or from Gaza in 1967 live in poverty and growing debt. Excellency, for nearly 75 years, UNRWA has provided public-like services to Palestinian refugees across the region. While running schools, health centers, and social protection, the agency has also responded to urgent humanitarian crises by providing food, cash assistance, and rehabilitating damaged shelter. I am proud of the positive impact UNRWA has had on the communities across the region. Unfortunately, though, the agency might not be able to continue to play its role in the same way for much longer. You heard more than once about our financial situation. It sometimes sounds like a broken record. The reality is that the crisis deepens year after year while the needs of the refugees increase. The gap between resources and the demand for services is now too wide to be contained by internal financial maneuver. The statu quo we are locked in today has become our main existential threat. If nothing changes, the agency will reach an inflection point. More than ever, universal human rights, such as the right to education or health care, are at risk. I'm convinced that no one in this room would like to see UNRWA having to deprive hundreds of thousands of children to access education or millions of others to access primary health care. This is something we should not allow. Palestinian refugees have been failed too many times. Their dignity is all that still remains. Their rights to a dignified life cannot be negotiated. Excellencies, there is an alternative path, one that places Palestinian refugees at the center of a renewed discussion about their rights and how to protect them. The discussion today needs to be elevated from a financial to a political one, a discussion addressing Palestinian refugees' dignity and well-being, and through it, the stability of the region and the quest for peace. The League of Arab States and its members, especially those who host the refugees, are key partners. You are also our allies in our efforts to raise funds and ensure that global solidarity with Palestinian refugees remains strong. I say this as Palestinian refugees have waited 75 years for a political solution. They have always relied on the Arab world for solidarity. They have no closer ally, no better partner. We are aware of renewed effort to revive a dialogue in the region that can lead to long-term peace. I welcome such initiative and reiterate that a political solution to the longest conflict in the region is the only possible outcome. And such an outcome must include a just and lasting solution to the plight of Palestinian refugees. And I look forward to engaging more closely with the region on this issue. Excellencies, immediate financial support is an essential and urgent priority in the short term. As of now, UNRWA needs between 170 and 190 million US dollars to sustain core services until the end of this year. And in addition, we need another $75 million to continue our life-saving food pipeline to more than half of the population in Gaza. But as we approach 75 years of UNRWA's existence, the Palestinian refugees look towards the Arab country for more than immediate funding to the agency. They want education and employment opportunities. They want to be relevant to the regional and global job market, even if they are sitting in Gaza. They want to think beyond the daily struggle and into a more prosperous and stable future. UNRWA and Palestinian refugees need Arab states to be at the forefront of a transformation from the current statu quo that has run its course to a new direction, a direction where Palestinian refugees have a tangible reason to hope for a long-term solution. I urge you to put the issue of Palestinian refugees back to the top of your political agenda. This is the only way we can have a sustainable, peaceful, and prosperous Middle East for all. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
أشكر سيد فيليب لازاريني على
Sir Philippe for his speech. And now I announce at the end of the opening session, I thank the attendees and the media. We'll resume our activity in a closed session after lunch. Thank you so much.